you guys, and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to answer that question. Why did it have to be such a harsh experience for me? Or, why did it have to be delivered to me in that manner? Meaning, like, why did I have to experience narcissistic abuse to get these lessons? Why did it have to be through that avenue? What I'm going to say to you is, because I made a post on a support group, the private support group that I run. If you want to find out about that, it's down in the description. I made a post, something to the nature of, it was necessary. It was necessary for your experience. It was something that you needed to get out of it. And, right away, there were some survivors that were like, but I could have did without all that heartache and all that pain and the suffering and, to that nature. And a lot of survivors are walking around wondering this, like, well, couldn't someone have just had a polite conversation with me? Like, why did it have to be that process, And then they had to go through that purge. I call it a purge. And it's their awakening, they're getting awakened through that experience because it was a catalyst in their life and they'll never be the same again. But it's like, whoa, that was a harsh delivery there. And I've said this many times on the channel where sometimes God has to scream at you, or, the universe is screaming at you to get your attention about something. Now, some of us really have to get real with ourselves, okay, as far as understanding, would I have gotten the lessons if it didn't come through that way? Would I have been receptive? Would I have stayed nonchalant? Did my system need to be jolted in order to my attention to really be gotten? Okay, because oftentimes, we do have opportunities beforehand to leave a situation, to observe a situation, to figure out a situation, and the clues are right there in front of our eyes, but it really depends on the lens that we're looking through here. And if we didn't have enough emotional maturity to be able to recognize those clues, if the subtle clues weren't enough, then okay, things are going to do what? They're going to escalate, guys. They're going to escalate. Because you didn't understand that first warning, the second warning, the third warning, the fourth warning. Yes, it's going to escalate because the other ones weren't sufficient enough. And some of us were so bent on a situation working out. We were so stubborn in our previous toxic behaviors that it would take something life-changing at that point to really, like I said, jolt your system and get your attention so that you can do what you have to do that's in your best interest. Because sometimes, and you're feeling like, what, that was overkill. But guess what? You're not going to forget that, are you? You're going to remember how unpleasant that was forever. You're not going to want to go back into that situation. Not if you're in your right, healthy mind here, of course, and you've done the work. All right, so, we can sit back and be bitter and resentful at that delivery, or we could say, you know what, I actually can see where it escalated to that kind of delivery because all the other ones that were softer, less harsh, they weren't effective for me. I had to get it that way. It had to come to me that way because it put my back up to the wall and it forced me. Sometimes we have to be forced to let go, forced to move on because we're not doing it for ourselves. So yeah, God's going to orchestrate it where, okay, okay, I'm gonna have to make this happen so that that can happen, so that that can happen. And, that's what you experience. And it had to come through that way, but you're not the only one who's a little stubborn. You're not the only one who may not have had enough emotional maturity to figure it out on a lighter level. But the good news is, now that that has happened to you, chances are you're going to be figuring it out on a lighter levels now. You're not going to need it to accelerate or to escalate to that harsh level. You shouldn't. If you still need that, that means you still haven't gotten your lessons and you're repeating cycles. At that point, you're repeating cycles. Okay. So, and that just speaks to a person in severe resistance. But for all of you who are like, why did it have to come through that? And, of course, these are situations where you weren't born into it. But chances are the lighter signals, red flags, either they were flying over your head or they weren't moving you to action, at least. Even if you were aware of it, it wasn't enough to get you to change, okay? And the ultimate goal here is to get you to have that shift, all right? To bring you back to yourself, to get you healthy and recalibrated and get you balanced, all right? So, you're not going to want to hear that, but let's call this tough love. This is why you had to get some tough love so that you could see that I don't never want to go back there again. I don't never want to experience that again. Okay? It needed to be nasty and ugly so that you could really feel the devastation, so that you can really see where you don't want to be and who you don't need in your life. So hopefully you were able to receive that. And, I'm hoping that you're not repeating cycles out of your own stubbornness and resistance to reality. Life is too short for that. Get your lessons and move on. Get your lessons and move on. Take your lessons and leave the rest. And I know that might sound like, how can I just leave my hurt and my pain? We work through it and we have a shift in our perceptions and our mentality so that we won't be looking at the cup half empty all the time. All right. That's why I made that video. One of the biggest roadblocks for survivors is having that wrong perceptions and mentality. You got to work on that. Whenever you're feeling defeated in life, shift your perceptions and your mentality. I'm human too. I have to remind myself sometimes because I've been through a whole lot of things, a whole lot of things. But I'm not a victim. I'm not going to stay in no victim mentality. I have to change the stories. I have to focus on what was good. I have to give my energy to that instead of dwelling and moping in the ladder of everything that I feel like didn't go my way. But this is the ironic part when we think it's not going our way, but it was going our way for our good. But it didn't feel pleasant to go through that purge, to have to experience it through that way. But where did it lead me? So it was going my way. It was going my way. But my own immaturity, lack of emotional maturity was dictating how harsh of a delivery that needed to be for me. Okay? But thank God I got it and I'm here today. And look at everything I've been able to accomplish, pay it forward and give it back to help other people. And it's true. People say all the time, if I could do it, you could do it. It's all about making choices, guys. It's all about making choices. All right. I hope this video helps someone.